Welcome to the third video in this short series I'm recording in honor of the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence and the release of my most recent book, American Democracy in Crisis. If you haven't had a chance to watch the first two videos, I invite you to do that as they do build on each other. As always, I'm going to start with a brief quote and then say a few words about it. The quote I'm beginning with today is from someone you're certainly going to be familiar with, and that is John F. Kennedy, who said the following in 1962: "Those who make peaceful revolution impossible will make violent revolution inevitable." Of the many memorable quotes by President Kennedy, this is one of my favorites because it reminds us of two important things. First, how important it is that governmental systems allow for and facilitate peaceful reform and progress. And number two, it underscores the danger of not doing that. This is almost a universal truism, but it's especially relevant in the American context because the American system was founded in revolution and violence, and we have a history of justifying some acts of violence, which are always illegal, as legitimate. And so for this reason, it's critically important that in the U.S. context, we work to ensure that there are robust pathways for peaceful progress and change. So to see how well we're doing on that score, I'm going to take you back to 1982 and a commencement address by someone you may not remember so well, but critically important, the former Treasury Secretary C. Douglas Dillon. He was giving a commencement address at Tufts University, and amongst other things, he talked about the fact that it was incredibly frustrating to him, almost unconscionable, as he said, that with all the gun violence going on in the U.S. at that time, the federal government had yet to do anything about that. That was 1982. Since that time, the U.S. has experienced 9 of the 11 deadliest shootings in American history. The 2017 horrific mass shooting, 60 people dead at Harvest Music Festival in Las Vegas. The 2016 massacre at the Orlando nightclub. A shooting at Virginia Tech. A shooting in 2012 of children at an elementary school in Connecticut. That was the Sandy Hook Elementary School, left 26 dead, including 26 and 7-year-old children. And another horrific shooting at a school in Uvalde, Texas, where 19 third and fourth graders and 2 of their teachers were killed. And those are just a few of the many horrific mass shootings. And it wasn't until after Uvalde that the federal government, the U.S. Congress, passed a very watered down bill addressing gun violence and gun control at the federal level. That's 40 years after Dillon spoke, 4 decades. Let's take another issue. How about illegal immigration, something that a lot of Americans are concerned about today? For decades, going back well beyond the 2000s, people from left and right, Republicans and Democrats, have been bemoaning the fact that our immigration system is in crisis. In fact, if you look at the 2000 election, George W. Bush was elected in part on his promise to fix the broken immigration system. And people had a lot of faith that he could do that because, of course, he was the governor of Texas, a southern state, and had dealt with this challenge for a long time. He was in office for 8 years, and he was unable to get a bill through Congress. He was followed, of course, by Barack Obama, made the same promise, unable to deliver. Donald Trump, same promise, unable to deliver. Joe Biden, same promise, unable to deliver. And now Donald Trump again, albeit 6 months in. And despite all of those different people from different parties with the same promise, we have yet to see common sense immigration reform pass the U.S. Congress and get signed by the president. And it's not just gun control, it's not just illegal immigration. You can substitute almost any issue you want in, And what you see more often than not is that the US federal government, except in times of crisis, is either very slow to respond to the will of the American public or unable to at all. In short, this is what we think of in political science as a lack of responsiveness. And a lack of responsiveness to the majority will is very troubling and problematic for many reasons. But as President Kennedy reminds us, there is a danger. And the danger is if you make peaceful change and progress difficult, you make violence and revolution inevitable, or at least you incentivize it. So what I want to talk about in the next video, which I hope you listen to, is why it is so difficult in the American system to have peaceful change progress over time. Why responsiveness is so difficult. Is it something about our public officials? Are we just electing ineffective people? Are we electing people who can't do the job? Are we electing people who are incapable, unable, corrupt? Or is there something else going on, something more insidious at play?